everyone, welcome back to another Connecting Your Creativity. I'm Alex, and this week we will be making watercolor spring greeting cards. All right, let's get started. Hi everyone, so to get started we will need a few supplies, and this includes various watercolor brushes. So I have some in different sizes. I have a larger one, a medium one, and two smaller ones. We also need a pencil, a pen, or a black marker. Of course, your watercolors, and I have 140-pound watercolor paper or just mixed media paper, and that should be it. So let's get started. All right, so to get started, we're going to go ahead and fold our piece of paper into that card style so that we can open it up and write our greetings in it. So I went ahead and did that. And you really want to make sure that crease is nice and firm. And then we're going to take a ruler or a straight edge. It might be helpful. And then we're going to very lightly pencil a rectangle. So I'm just very lightly penciling in a rectangle. Like so. And this rectangle is going to provide us with a good outline for our jar. So we're going to be drawing a jar, and I'm going to do so by taking my pencil, and at the very top of our rectangle, I'm going to be drawing an oval, and I don't want it to take up the entire rectangle. So I want it to be smaller than the rectangle that we drew. So like this. And then we're going to draw a couple of different kind of lumps that you would normally see on a jar. So where the jar kind of screws together, we're going to be making a few lines like this. And then the jar kind of gets bigger on the sides. So we're going to draw like a little shoulder here. And we want to make them as even as possible. So we have our little shoulders here. And then at the bottom we can go ahead and make two curved lines like so. And that way it'll give us a nice jar figure that we can go ahead and erase the outline. The rectangle that we originally drew. So everything outside of our drawing we can go ahead and erase. And then you can go ahead and redefine the areas and kind of darken up the jar. So we're just darkening our lines of our drawing. And we should have something that looks like this. So now we can go ahead and put in our flowers. And we don't need to outline our flowers. We can go ahead and just get started with the watercolor. So I'm going to take a smallish brush here and I'm going to dampen it, and I'm going to pick a color. So this looks like a nice color. And then I'm going to draw some lavender, and lavender has a really nice, easy shape to it. So when we're painting lavender, we can simply do little V's that kind of get wider at the bottom. And have a nice little dot on top. So we're going to be drawing a little bit of lavender. And I'm going to draw 2 of them. So I'm going to draw a couple of different lavender pieces. So this is what we have. And then we're going to pick a different flower. So we want to mix up the flowers, or if you don't want to and you just want to draw lavender or just another flower, that's totally fine. But I like to add a little bit of diversity. So then we're going to go ahead and take a little bit of red, and I'm going to mix it with just a hint of purple. And then I'm going to create kind of like a star shape with my brush. So something that looks like this. And I'm going to do that again over here. So this one might be facing sideways. There's really not a lot of rules when it comes to watercolor flowers. They're very loose and flowy, so any shape that you do will end up looking a lot like a flower, and that's really great for us. So I'm going to go ahead and go back in with a little bit of red. And this time I'm going to create kind of a rose look. And I'm going to do it with the lightest color I have, with the most water on my brush. So that way it kind of leaves like a pinkish hue to it. Like so. And I think a little bit of blue would look really nice as well. So maybe there's like a few berries, you know, and they have the 3-dot look to them, like this. And then maybe a little bit of yellow. And we can fan this one out. So maybe these ones look like that. And I think I'm going to change these dots to like a reddish color. So I'm going to go back in and change these to more of like a red. And then maybe I'm going to darken up some of my areas here with a few different colors and kind of create some color diversity within my flowers. All right, so that's what we have so far. And then we're going to go in with our greens. So adding in our stems, we can draw them and paint them down the water bowl. Like this. And we can always add another layer of that green. So even if it comes out really light the first time, we can always go back with a little bit more color and kind of darken some of those stems up. So we really want to be light in our hands when we're painting. We want to do it with like the lightest hand possible. Just kind of bring those stems down like this. And then we can add a few leaves. So pressing down on your brush and then pulling up is a really good way to make some leaves. Because as you pull up, it'll make a nice point, and as you push down, you'll have a nice wide stroke. Now I'm just going to add, with our flowers, a few pieces of greenery that kind of poke through the top. And they have like lots of little leaves, maybe. Like these ones here. We can add a few of those throughout our painting. And then if we take our brush with like a lot of water, we can add in some really light background leaves. So it's all coming together. And if you notice any flowers in your pot that are looking a little washed out, it's okay. We can always go back in with another brighter layer. So with watercolor, it's all about the layers. All right, and then at the bottom of our bowl, we should have a little bit of water. So after our stems are all dry and we're not going to drag any colors around, so make sure that this is all dry. We can add a tinge of blue at the bottom to help create the illusion of water in our jar. All right, so we're gonna let this dry a few minutes and then we'll be right back. All right, so our paintings are mostly dry. So now we can go ahead and start the inking process. So for the inking process, you want to take a thicker pen or marker I don't have a thicker pen today, so I'm going to have to work a little bit harder. But if you have like a thick point marker or a script pencil or pen, that would be great. And then we're just going to go ahead and start outlining our flowers. And this way it kind of just gives us a little bit more depth. And you just want to follow the natural curves that your painting has. So this is what we have so far, and I'm just going to continue with the rest. And while we are darkening the lines for our flowers, we also want to be darkening the lines of our mason jar. So we're just about there. All right, so this is what our flower should look like, or something of the sort. So this is it. And then you can go ahead and write whatever you'd like inside or at the bottom. You can also write something and personalize it. It's a really good way of kind of saying like hello or like welcome spring or something like that. And then you can write your message inside. And there you have it. All right, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and I'll see you next week for another Connecting Your Creativity. Bye.